season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming now on my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did this by my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share.
What is up, guys? It's Evan. You guys are watching Auto Handler TV, and we are back on the air. So, man, it has been a really long time since I made a YouTube video, and there's so much that I want to catch you guys up on, but man, I have gone through a crazy journey over the last couple of months. So where to start, man? If you guys don't know, on August 8th, I was at a drift event, and my car fell on top of me while I was underneath working on it. It actually was elevated in the front and not the back. The starter wire shorted, it cranked over, and it drove itself on top of me, crushing me underneath. And I was actually stuck under the car for about 60 seconds. It was absolutely traumatic and horrible. I do not recommend. I broke 15 bones. My pelvis was fractured in 4 places. My back was broken in 2 places. I broke 6 ribs. My collarbones were obliterated into 6 or 7 separate pieces. And my brachial plexus, which is the bundle of nerves that runs from the base of your skull to your arms, was completely crushed, and my arm was completely paralyzed for about 3 months. And I was really in the swing of things making videos back when that happened. I was doing 1 to 2 uploads a week, and the channel was starting to show signs of growth. And let me tell you that nothing will slow you down like an injury that's that bad. I ended up in the hospital for 8 days. I was at home in a wheelchair for almost 3 months. I had a hospital bed in my house. I actually couldn't sit up on my own because of so many broken bones in my torso. So I actually needed to have a hospital bed in order to elevate me from a lying position to a sitting position. And my life was pretty much hell for about 2.5, 3 months. It really screwed up my ability to live the way that I normally live. I was basically holed up in my house, watching YouTube, watching TV, going to physical therapy, and just trying to get through this. I was on a massive dose of pain medication, which was very helpful, but also was very painful when I had to detox off of it. I was on something along the lines of 140 to 160 milligrams of oxycodone a day. And I don't know if any of you have dealt with opiate withdrawal symptoms before, but they were absolutely terrible. It was worse than I could have ever imagined. And it was really a dark place in my life. It was really difficult, and I was having a really bad time. During that time, I was super naive when it came to my left arm and its functionality. When I first got crushed, I got out from underneath the car, and I was in complete shock. I stood up immediately, and I could see my collarbones were poking out of my skin, not completely out, but they were making my skin raised from the inside. They're obviously all screwed up. I could tell my back and my pelvis was broken because I could feel my bones shifting around when I moved, and I actually couldn't lift my left arm at all, and I was really freaking out. I was like, I can't move my arm, I'm paralyzed, blah, blah, and my girlfriend and luckily all my friends that were at the drift event were able to calm me down and get me to lay down until the ambulance came. And when they rushed me off to the ICU, I was pretty much at the whim of the doctors. I didn't know what to expect. And so once they got me in with an MRI and x-rays and they surveyed the damages to my body, I basically then spent about the next 7 days lying in a hospital bed, just awaiting more information and trying to figure out a plan of action as to how I'm going to get through this injury. And during that time, I actually thought every day naively, I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure that my arm will just start working tomorrow, you know, and then tomorrow turned to the next day, and the next day turned to the next day. I ended up getting discharged from the hospital. I still couldn't move my arm at all. And it went on like that. And actually, if you go back to the last couple of videos that I posted since I got out of the hospital, the one about the 1 Series and my Dakar M3, you'll see that in those videos, my left arm is moving from the elbow forward, but it is not moving away from my body at all. And it was like that for a long time. I was going to physical therapy. I had more MRIs, more x-rays, and the doctors basically said, look, man, these nerve injuries are really severe. We can't tell you if you're ever going to be able to move your arm again or not. If you are, it could be as long as 2 years before you can move your arm, and we don't know if it will ever recover fully. And that really put me mentally in a really dark place. I was beginning to question my own existence in a really, really real way, where I was just thinking like, how am I going to operate Auto Handler as a brand? How am I going to drive drift cars? The one thing that I've focused most of my life on over the last 6 to 8 years. You know, well, how is this going to pan out for me long term? Am I going to have to close my business? Am I going to have to get on disability? I really didn't know. And so I'm about 2.5 months in, and my bones are starting to heal, but my arm's still not moving. And I'm not in that much pain, but I can tell that I've built a physical dependency to the pain medication that I'm on. So I take the initiative to detox from it. And I had this really rough week where I was detoxing from the opiates, and I was also accepting the fact that I might be monoplegic for life. And it was really bad. I mean, I spent a freaking week crying on my bathroom floor. I'm not even gonna lie. And finally, when the withdrawal symptoms started to dissipate a little bit, I kind of peeled myself up off the ground and I said, you know, look, Evan, if you have an arm or you don't have an arm, you're gonna have to get on with your life. Accept it, make something wonderful from it if you can, and let's just get back to work and try to make life worth living again, because I had been so isolated at my house for months on end. I really wanted to get back into going to work and getting back involved with cars. And I finally just sort of accepted it. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't have an arm anymore. That sucks, but here we go. And I swear to God, like clockwork, I don't know if God was playing a joke on me or if I just needed to go through the full range of emotions or what, but about 2 days after that, my arm started to move, and then it started to actually recover really quickly. And now at this point, I am back to my normal self, although my arm's a little bit weaker from not being used for 3 months. So I'm not out of the woods yet with my injury. I'm still sore. I still have to be careful. I definitely don't have the strength that I had before, and my bones are not completely healed yet. But for all intents and purposes, I've been able to start to get back to my normal life. And that sort of catches us up to the last couple of months. Call it selfish, call it like self-explorative, I'm not really sure, but for the first bit of time when I was actually back on my feet, I just was enjoying being able to do normal life stuff so much that I didn't really think about picking up a camera. YouTube was the furthest thing from my mind in terms of my priorities. I really just wanted to get back down to Auto Handler, get back to work, start finding cars for people, sourcing vehicles, selling cars, getting my drift car back in order, and kind of just getting back to my normal life. And it was really, really satisfying for me after being stuck at home for that long, doing absolutely nothing. Just being able to hop in my car and drive down to Auto Handler and open the doors and tinker around on some cars and do my normal thing was basically like heaven to me. And I really was soaking that up for a while. Now, during that time, I actually have messed around with a couple of different projects that have come and gone. As you can see behind me, there's a car that wasn't here the last time I made a video, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm finally getting to the point where I think that I need to pick the camera back up again. And healed or not healed, doing YouTube as a one-man show as far as content creation is a lot of work, especially when I am running this entire brand and edit the videos and make regular uploads a thing and all of that. So it's really tough. And for someone who's not making money from YouTube, it's really hard to justify taking my time away from what does earn me money, which is running Auto Handler, the brand, focusing on developing products, sourcing vehicles and all that. And then adding on top of that probably 6 to 8 hours of just hard camera work, camera operating, editing, and all of the stuff involved with releasing YouTube videos. Now, on the other hand, I absolutely love making content. I love it. I've done it for 10 years. I absolutely love filming things. I love taking photos. I love storytelling. I love it all. And I would really love to start to make YouTube a bigger priority with the brand. I also have a feeling that what separates people that are successful on YouTube from the millions of people that aren't is that willingness to do the extra work and to actually put your nose to the grindstone even when you have a day job, when you have other obligations, and still stick to those uploads and continually be consistent on YouTube. And so this is sort of me just kind of jumping back in. no, this is not going to have some meteoric virality that's going to, you know, get 1 million views on this video. This is 100% a core audience video, but I wanted to get back into the swing of turning the camera on, update you guys on what my life has been like for the last couple of months. And for the YouTube subscribers that I do have, you guys have expressed so many messages to me about how you want me to continue. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of you guys have literally reached out to me and said, please keep doing YouTube, please keep doing YouTube. I love the content. And honestly, getting to share the BTS stuff at Auto Handler is really fun. And if you guys enjoy this content, I'm just going to make it with no expectation in return, and we're gonna see where it goes. So here we are, making a new YouTube video. Fucking sweet. So while I was actually hurt, I was trolling around on Facebook Marketplace groups, and I literally stumbled across this super sick square body C10 that was bagged. I never made any YouTube content with it. In fact, I don't think I have a single video clip of it that isn't filmed vertically for Instagram Reel. But while I was recovering from my injury, I actually had that shipped to me from Eastern Texas. I switched the wheels and tires up on it, cleaned it up a little bit, did a little bit of light restoration work on it, and somebody actually ended up making me an offer I couldn't refuse on the truck. And so that went into the shop and out of the shop before I ever had a single chance to make a video for you guys about it. It's a really cool truck, and I had a really, really great time owning it for the short time that I did. It was bagged, and it had trailing arm conversion in the back. It was a turnkey, just sweet, classic bagged square body C10 short bed. It was really awesome, and it probably won't be the last one that I own, but I don't have it anymore, so RIP to any YouTube content for that. So that sort of catches us up to what I've been doing for the last couple of months. I've got some really fun stuff on the horizon, and I want to give you guys a quick overview of what to expect from the channel in the next couple of months and what you're going to be seeing on Instagram and all of that. Now, there's obviously a big purple elephant in the room. It is that touring right there. I actually bought that from Chelsea DeNofa. I sold the C10, and I said to myself, I still want to have something else fun, something else that's sort of an outlier to the cars that I've had for a year or two. And I just texted Chelsea on a whim, and I literally was like, hey bro, sell me your touring. And I was 100% expecting him to tell me to go pound sand. But surprisingly, he actually said, sure, come get it. He's doing a whole bunch of fun stuff in 2022. He's going to be making some big changes, and he actually doesn't have room for the car. So I ended up picking up this really awesome M-Tech individual slick top 2.8 5-speed Madeira Violet E36 touring from him, and it is on M systems, the E34 M5 turbine wheels. It is absolutely gorgeous. This thing is almost flawless in terms of a spec. It is about as nice of an E36 touring as you can possibly get. The interior is absolutely perfect. It has speed cloth, everything works, and it is just a complete joy to drive. As far as my longevity of ownership with this car, I really cannot comment on that. I have a lot of E36s, and this car is already sort of done in a way. You know, I like to change stuff up and customize things and tinker with them and make them my own. And part of the destination is the journey for me. I really like to take stock cars or unloved, unwanted, orphan cars and do something really awesome with them. And this thing is already basically like exactly how I would build it. And so it's sort of like, well, I mean, I could just keep it and drive it, but I have a feeling that there's somebody out there who would love to have this car a lot more than I would. I've got other E36s that I enjoy, and this is gonna be somebody's like freaking crown jewel of a car. And so eventually it's probably gonna get listed for sale, but getting to see it inside Auto Handler's studio and be a part of all the different cars that are in here right now, which we have a full house, it's really exciting and it's really cool to see. What is next as far as builds go? Basically, I was like this close to buying a Mercedes G-Class, and my girlfriend was not excited about the idea. She kept trying to talk me out of it. For me, it's like 4x4 truck, boxy 90s European styling, can tow, like it was a no-brainer. But she was literally like, Evan, don't spend 40 grand on a G-Class. You're gonna regret it. And one of the caveats to affording the G-Class was that I was going to have to sell the 2001 740i Short Sport that I've had for a year and a half. and I've barely even driven the car. But the reason that I've kept it so long is because Erica told me, she's very wise. She said to me, "You better not sell that." And I said, "Well, why?" And she said, "Well, because every time that you sell an E38, you immediately just start looking for another one." And that is 100% true. I've done that probably 5 times since her and I started dating 5 years ago. And I've probably owned 10 E38s over the course of the last decade. Maybe a few less, but a lot. And she said to me, she said, "Well, Evan, you could build the ultimate E38 for basically 1/3 of what you're willing to spend on that G-Class." And that really got me thinking. A car guy will look for any excuse to make spending 10 grand seem like a good idea. And so I literally went all in, and I got started reaching out to some partners like Wireworks here in Portland and Bag Riders, and I've actually put together an amazing parts package for this E38 that's about to go on. So what you see here is a full airlift 3P system courtesy of Bag Riders. Thank you guys so much. They gave me awesome pricing on the system, and it is literally like top of the line, nicest stuff in every way. I opted for the 3P and not the 3H deliberately. It's got dual Vire 485C compressors, 1/4-inch airlines, polished tank, and the air struts are custom made, and they're going to be coming soon. And so in the next 30 days or so, we're going to bring that E38 inside, and we're going to get started on it. I actually was contacted by a really cool company called Wireworks in Portland that does air ride and audio installs, and my buddy Tristan is going to come down and do the ultimate audio and air ride system on the E38. It is going to be 100% about user interface, and basically I just want this car to be like the ultimate driver in terms of daily drivability and the user experience. It's really going to all be about the UI with this car. I've got some Alpina softlines coming in the mail that I found on an E38 group for sale in Southern California. And while they aren't the most flashy wheel, I really think that 20-inch Alpina softlines are the wheel for E38, and so that's what we're going with. They're currently stuck somewhere in Portland in the back of a FedEx truck, probably in a ditch in the snow or something, because they were supposed to be here a week ago and they still haven't arrived. But fingers crossed they'll show up, and we're gonna be able to get going on that as well. So Erica's car is finally back inside, and we are gonna be taking this to paint to have Caleb lay down an awesome coat of paint on it next month. That is a long time coming. We're probably like a year overdue with that, and I'm really excited for that. The LS1 car is doing great. I actually just took it street drifting on Christmas Day. If you guys don't use Christmas Day to go drive all of the street spots that you can normally not drive, then you are not doing it right, because the whole city basically shuts down, and me and a couple of buddies went out and just shredded the hell out of Portland. Not a cop in sight, not that there's really any police here anyway. It's kind of a lawless wasteland, but we had a blast, and I'm really looking forward to getting back in the driver's seat and hitting some events in this thing. For a long time, I was really worried that I was never going to be able to reach the steering wheel in this car properly again, and that I was going to have to relearn how to drive. But luckily, I was able to recover from the injury, and drifting feels just the same as it always has, aka a ton of fun, and we're going to be doing a lot of that. I recently did a VSXX wheel giveaway on my Instagram, and so these are hanging out. These are about to go to some lucky owner. The winner's going to get announced on New Year's Eve. I've also been piecing together a set of 17-inch RS2 deep concave wheels. I got these for a really good price from my buddy Brandon at 503 Wheels. Sent them off for new powder. I ordered some center lock caps from Canada. I'm waiting on some waffles, and we're gonna get these things assembled and maybe give these away too. I don't really know. Maybe put them on the M3. I'm not really sure. So the M3 is chilling. I will not bring this car out in the rain. It's just too clean. I don't want it to get dirty. It sounds so bougie, but it just looks so nice in here. And I actually had a dream that I turbocharged it, and I was having a blast in the dream. So I think I might actually focus some of my time and money on turbocharging this thing and getting it to make like in the 400 wheel range, do a gasket and studs and some type of Garrett turbo and a cool manifold, and just make this thing make some crazy sounds and just be this fun street car. If you noticed, the front lip is currently off the car, but that's actually a good thing for you guys. I finally took the initiative to take this lip off and take our prototype front lip that we had developed off to get molded and put into actual production. So we did a pre-order on that. For anyone who ordered it in the first day, they saved 15%, but the pre-order is still open. You can get it on our website, and it's going to be a really nice piece. It really does a better job than the AC Schnitzer lip that everyone runs on M3 bumper. It's a little stubbier, it's a little bit bigger, and it flows really good with the OEM M3 bumpers, so stay tuned for that. I didn't mention it, but the weather is absolutely terrible in Portland right now. It is aberrant, it is cold, it is absolutely freezing. It is nasty out there, but it's nice and warm in here, so that works for me. There's one other project that I actually have taken on that's going to be the next build that I do after the E38. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you see me constantly talking about how I want to do an off-road build of some kind. I want to get into overlanding, I want to get into rock crawling, I want to spend some time outside in the prettiest part of the United States, in my opinion. I live in the beautiful, beautiful Pacific Northwest. It's a Pacific rainforest. There's more nature to be enjoyed in this area than almost anywhere else in the country. Massive trees, mountains, lakes, desert, I mean, you name it. And I literally have, all my cars are on-road vehicles. And so there's literally no ability for me except to take my tow truck out into the woods to go dink around and do fun stuff out there. Well, I finally pulled the trigger on a truck. Let me show it to you guys. So just 2 days ago, I actually drove to Eastern Washington in a complete hellstorm and bought this 3.4 4x4 double cab Tacoma. I'm really hyped. If you know me and my cars, I'm very deliberate about what I build and what I like to build. And when I decided that I wanted to build a wheeler or off-road truck or what have you, I knew it had to be a double cab Tacoma. The size is perfect, the styling is awesome, and they're just super reliable. And I really want to see this thing on 1-ton axles and climbing some rocks. I'm really stoked to get started on the truck, but I told myself that we would get Erica's car painted and I would finish my E38 before I even put a dime into this thing. So right now, I literally am invisible on the street. It's just a normal Toyota Tacoma that I've been daily driving, but that's gonna be coming up soon and I'm really excited about it. So before I conclude our little end of year shop tour update video, you probably saw me do a preview shot of this in the video intro, but I ended up buying back my 2004 BMW X3 6-speed slick top. And this car I actually built in 2019, right before I ended up opening Auto Handler and getting the physical location. It's really cool. They're stupid rare with the 6-speed and the slick top configuration. Magic City Garage in Portland swapped a low miles 2.5 M54 into it. We adapted some coilovers from an E36, and I ended up finding these absolutely huge Advan Sienna 19x11s. So sad story, I actually just sold this to someone in Texas. It's about to go onto a truck, but bright side, we got to keep the wheels. The new owner didn't want the Advans, so we're gonna go ahead and repurpose the Advans on Erica's X5D and maybe even do some coilover suspension and stuff on that too. So all right guys, we've done a YouTube video. I'm super hyped to get back into doing this. Thank you guys for being so patient with me as far as my recovery from my injury. Nobody tried to hound me about making uploads or cars or any of that. You guys, I have the best fans and customers in the entire world, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. It feels so good to be able to get back to my normal life, which is something that I didn't know was even going to be possible. So with that said, I'm gonna cut it short. We're gonna get out of here and I'm gonna go get started on my day. But hopefully that fills everybody in a little bit on what to expect in the next couple months. And I'm gonna do one video upload a week to get started. I don't wanna commit to more than that because I will end up getting overworked, overwhelmed, and burnt out. But I'm pretty sure I can nail one video upload a week and take the time out of my day, at least for one day a week, to do a general shop update or take you guys street drifting or go to a drift event or whatever it ends up being. So stay tuned, guys. We're gonna be doing E36 stuff, Tacoma stuff, obviously getting the drift car out. Erica's car is gonna be getting a new coat of paint. And yeah, that's about it, man. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching. Check you later.